Hey there, I hope you're doing great. I'm Jake, and today we're diving into some more fascinating Reddit stories. If you enjoy Reddit tales like these, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Alright, let's jump right into today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Elitem, who says, "Am I the for kicking out my girlfriend's sister and her kids out of my flat after my girlfriend gave her the keys? People around me are saying I'm the but I need the perspective of uninvolved people. My long-term girlfriend has my apartment keys as I have hers. Only unspoken until now, but always respected rule was if you need to go to the other place, just send a text. Hey, going to your place. Doesn't matter if the other one is at home or even respond, just simply to tell the other you will be at their place. I was supposed to be away 700 kilometers from home for 2 weeks for work-related stuff, but 4 days in and our instructor got into an accident. Work tried to find another one, but no such luck on very short notice. They decided at like 10 p.m. to get us the first flight home the next day at like 6 a.m. Pay us the overtime and the next day at home, then resume our normal work schedule. So I get home the next day at like 9 a.m., sends a text to my girlfriend to tell her I am back. Getting to my door, I'm very confused hearing children screaming inside since none of the people who have my keys have little kids like that. My brother and my girlfriend. I thought I got squattles or something. Opening the door and I see my girlfriend's sister's kid running around after a shower, putting water everywhere. Plates of half-finished ravioli on my living room ground. Their suitcases opened in the entrance. I get inside and see the husband on my couch trying to hook up my PS2 that he must have dug out of my storage room, getting into a verbal argument with him, trying to understand why they are here, said, my girlfriend told them they could get my flat for like 2 weeks while I was gone. They wanted to visit the city for a bit. Go to the beach. My girlfriend sent me a text while I was arguing, telling me, oh, okay, by the way, my sister's fam is at your flat. I admit I blew up on him and the sis who left my bedroom in the meantime. Told them to leave immediately. They argued quite a bit. My girlfriend called her sis. Then sis put up the speaker so we could all hear, and she said I was embarrassing her. Yet she told them they could use my place for a while. I threatened to call the police. Also asked my brothers to come. They left while cursing me to their children, telling that the holidays are over because the mean little sister's boyfriend cast us out. Have now all of my girlfriend's family on my back, and even some of my own family saying I could have stayed with my girlfriend so the kids could have some vacations. Also, they have read my doctor prescription papers. I put them in a specific order. It was not the same. And obviously took some of my prescribed meds. Opened a box of benzoazepine pronunciation. Am I the here for making them leave? We pretty much stopped talking about anything else with my girlfriend. I feel like I'm being gaslighted. I would never invite people to her apartment like that, especially without telling her. It seems so disrespectful. Am I going insane? Gee, bloody whiz. Of course, you're not going to be in this situation, and anyone who's saying otherwise is absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's bad enough that she gave access to your place without permission. But the family going through your house as well, your medical documents, stealing his prescription medication. And like always, we see in stories like this, there's always around who's telling OP he's in the wrong one. He's the one that should be being apologized to. And I was just left thinking, I wonder how long this has been planned for. I mean, they turn up to your place with suitcases talking about a vacation, boyfriend digging for your PS2 through your storage. That would definitely be relationship ending stuff right there. I mean, the fact that there was no immediate apology or any sign of an emergency, not that that would make it any better, but just gaslighting OP, making him think that he's wrong in this situation is wild. OP added some more information in the comments and said, I live in a 2-bedroom flat. Her place is a 1-bedroom. Guessing that's why she didn't do that. Only a guess, since I have not managed to get them to calmly explain what happened, instead of the absolute chaos that is unfolding in the past few days on WhatsApp. Wouldn't have minded or needed permission for her to stay at my home. We've done it multiple times. Just send a text and it's fine. We have or had past permission to do that for a long time. I'm just crushed. She never showed such an attitude before and it is unlikely. I do sleep out quite often, but my schedule is constantly changing like hers, so she usually knows when I'm not sleeping home. But we don't bother to tell each other at what time we get back. I could finish work at 8 a.m. and be back home at 8:30 if we don't have anything planned. Opie also adds, I don't know if it is possible. They have taken it as in consumed, not taken the box. I still have the Pax blister pack. Not sure of the English name, but it is missing 5 pills. I don't know if it can be taken seriously by the police or if they will care. Hope you're responding to someone on who's telling him he's the, and says it is mostly her family and my kid, crazy fever parents, who are very pissed off that none of us have proper kids, and do heavily on anyone under the age of 10, family or friends. I mean, my parents have a grandkid fever, but only my brother's wife had a kid from a previous relationship. So our parents consider they don't have proper grandkids? Yeah, to be fair, they are not saying my girlfriend was right. They deflected, changed the subject, saying I could have been the bigger person and not ruin the kids' holidays. Who are these wild-ass people, man? Imagine that. Coming home to your flat, that people all over it running around that you don't know, helping their elves to your storage, your medication, and they, be the bigger person here. Let them chill out. Use your bed, use your what the hell. People were saying, is there any access to your credit? And Opie says, I will be careful, but I don't live in the US. They are more careful about who opens a credit here. At least it is not common as in the US. Opie also says she was here before I left on Saturday. Was supposed to be here on my return, so she could have planned to clean up. Yes, I've contacted the police this morning by phone to know what my options are, but it seems that they believe I am lying to get a refill or something. His attitude changed when I explained what happened and he became snappy. I'm lucky to not need it daily or constantly. I usually get 1 box a month and use it as I see fit. 1 or 2 pills on bad nights, and 1 box is more like 1 and 2 months or 2 months when I'm okay. So, I don't go and get my refill each month. It will be fine even without the 5 pills. This is so different from her usual behavior. She never showed me that kind of entitlement before. I do believe that our relationship is over after such a breach of trust, but I'm willing to hear her out, at least when they will stop insulting each other, shifting the blame about the house and the stolen meds. I do need to know why she would do something like that. This is so bizarre and an abrupt change of personality. I would believe it if she had hit her head or had some brain issue. I don't know. Opie on who he thinks took the pills. Opie says, I am still unsure who did it. Was it sister, the husband, both? They're claiming they haven't done it and that it must have been my future ex that did it. Very unlikely. Even brought up how she smoked weed once in a university party 12 plus years ago. It's a mess. I'll just be vague in my statement saying all 3 had access and could have done it. Then OP adds an update and says, thanks for all the messages in the previous post. I posted many updates by responding to comments, so I resume everything that I wrote and the follow-up. After I kicked them out, I received messages from my ex's family and calls from my ex's mom telling me how terrible I was to do such a thing. Had to set the record straight because my ex admitted to tell her mom that she did not inform me of their planned vacations in my flat. When it got around, they changed tactics and told me repeatedly that while she shouldn't have done it, I was even worse because I ruined the sister's kids' holidays, and that I could have been the bigger person and stayed at my ex's place until they left. 2 to 3 days later, I discover that someone has read my prescriptions and opened my next box of Enzoine and took out 5 pills. I assumed it was a sister and her husband, and they got high on it. I informed my friends, and it must have been shared immediately with my ex, because less than 15 minutes later, I was receiving messages from my ex and her sis telling me that it wasn't them. And I must have opened and used the wrong box by mistake. I didn't. They must have told their parents because they reached out to a common friend of us to know more, and they started to blame Sis's husband to be a drug addict, and they always knew he was bad news and all that, and my ex joined them. Sis and her husband got angry at them, said it must have been my ex. Then my ex blamed her sister. Just slinging all over the carpet. Sis even told her parents about how my ex did weed a few times in parties at university more than 10 years ago. At least they left me alone while they were blaming each other. Then after a few days, I got a call from the SIS who apologized about her reaction when I kicked them out. She seemed truly remorseful. Told me that it was my girlfriend that proposed it and assured them it was all good and they could use my place without issues, and that she assumed we must have had a couple's argument when I decided to rescind my agreement for their stay just to be petty to my ex and get back at her, and that they got caught in the middle. It is somewhat coherent with what they told me and how they acted at the time, so I'm inclined to believe it. Still completely denying having anything to do with my meds though. Went to the police, and it took me all morning to end up telling a cop that very clearly thought I was a liar and an addict trying to get more meds. I wouldn't have said they just stole 5 if I wanted more though. I would have said they took the entire box. He couldn't care less and just wanted it to be over with. So completely useless. A family got wind of my complaint because it threw some fresh in the fireplace and they got into an argument again. Apparently, a family decided that the most recent perpetrator is my ex and she blocked her mom and her sis. I don't know much more. Also, we broke up in the meantime. I tried to get an explanation for her disrespectful attitude, but I was stonewalled completely. It was, "How could you do that to me?" or just ignoring me. When I told her that we were done, she sent me a picture of my stuff at her place in a bag already by her entrance, and she sent a list of stuff she wanted back. No emotion at all, no apologies, just coldness. I guess you never truly know someone? Well, I think I've told most of what happened since then, except that my anxiety is through the roof and I have to take meds more often now. I want to thank all the people who answered. I didn't expect nor wanted to be truthful so much attention. A lot of them were great advices. It'll probably be the only update. Only thing left is discovering who truly stole my meds. The police will not do anything, so I'll let it post a comment if something does happen on that front. Damn, that's mad. I mean, I still left wondering why. What was the plan behind this the whole time? I mean, it's very unlikely, but there was a part of me thinking, has the girlfriend been renting out the flat behind his back when he's out sometimes? I mean, it was what it was only got. It's only one of the things I could think of. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Macans84 and says, "Am I the here?" for retaliating against one of my bullies for something he repeatedly did to me 26 years later. Okay, so this concerns me and a certain bully from a long time ago. I'll just name him Slam. In 1997 and 1998, when I was 13 and 14 respectively, for utterly no reason other than the fact that I was the only half-Australian boy in my school in the city of Hippo, state of Iraq, country of Malaysia, and didn't speak Mandarin fluently. Everyone in my class, and a class 1 year senior to mine, decided to pick on me. I was literally the living definition of underdog and outcast. Any type of bullying, you name it, I suffered it. Pinned to the ground and punched, got that. Water balloons on me out of nowhere. Truly well versed in that kind of suffering. A fistful of chalk dust in my face. Yeah, nothing new. Slam was, of course, one of my tormentors. He had a special bullying move of his own. When we were playing basketball, none of the others bullied me on the court except Slam. He made it his mission in life. When he got the basketball, to run to me and throw the ball at my face as hard as he possibly could. Sometimes I dodged the ball and got lucky. Other times it left me with a very sore nose or watering eyes or a bleeding lip. Slam did this to me anywhere between 30 to 40 times over the 2 years of torment, and I never managed to get back at him. 10. It reduced me to tears quite a few times getting a basketball to the face. Now I'm 40 years of age. Slam being senior to me would be 41. As luck would have it, as I was perusing a sports goods store in one of my city's malls, I saw Slam working as the manager for that store. I know, be the bigger person. Put it all behind you. Let bygones be bygones. That's all excellent advice, but I couldn't help remembering how this person had made my life a living hell in 1997 and 1998. The fury and hurt of the past just balled up, despite 26 years of time separating it. I walked up to him. Of course, he recognized me and started acting all affable and friendly, asking if there was anything I wanted. I calmly told him I'd like to see the basketballs. Off he went and got a fine Spalding NBA ball for me. Once it was in my hands, I calmly and clearly stated, "Hey Slam, this is for 97 and 98. And with all my strength and hatred, I didn't know still existed in me. I flung the ball at him. It caught him full force in the face. To say he was shocked was the understatement of the year. I ran off as fast as I could and didn't stop until I got to my car. I felt fulfilled, like I'd got back something I was owed after 26 long years. However, my mother calls me vindictive and evil. My wife, meanwhile, tried me for not being able to let go of the past. My aunt also said, "Holding on to grudges like that will only kill you faster." So, Reddit, please tell me, am I the here? Anang says, "It was a really, really stupid idea for you as a grown adult to commit a crime against him in a public place that likely has security cameras. Massively stupid." Another commenter says, "I mean, this is hilarious, but not the best way to handle the situation. If you would have verbally confronted him, maybe he would have even apologized. We all did things we regret as kids." Opus says not sure if he would have apologized. Out of 23 tormentors, only 2 have ever apologized to me. One did so and even accompanied his apology with a gift, a bottle of red wine. The other just said his sorry Reese, but I accepted it. The rest, the few times I bumped into them, they never seemed to recall that they were part of the group that rained hell down on me in 1997 and 1998. Another comment says, "Not sure about, but certainly childish and a bit of a honestly. I mean, it had been one thing if you stood your ground and finished the confrontation, but you ran out of there like a frightened cat. So exactly what you proved to Slam is something you should ask yourself." Opie says, "I admit I probably should have just stood there and took what was coming to me and maybe even fight it out. But fight or flight response took me and my brain decided on flight. Cowardly. Now looking back at it, yes indeed, I agree with your response." So it was around 9 months after OP posted that, and came in with an update and says, "Alright, I know it's been almost a year, but I finally decided to go and resolve the situation." Opinions were divided on my original post. Some called me Anne for taking out my trauma for being bullied so many years later. Others said while I was Anne, it was justified. Still others said, "No excuses for bullying." My former bully, who I named Slam in the post, deserved it. Well, I decided to give the matter closure anyway. I decided to go and find Slam at the store, talk it out, and resolve it earlier today. I went to the store after lunch, and Slam was doing his rounds, inspecting the sports gear. He looked surprised to see me, and I raised my hands and told him I wasn't coming to cause trouble, but I wanted to talk things out. I didn't mince my words. I started off with a direct apology. "I'm sorry for hitting you in the face with that basketball almost a year ago. I have no excuse. I was angry, and let past anger just overwhelm me. I failed to control myself. It was my fault." He shook his head, and his response surprised me in turn. As he said, I have no excuse also. "I remember what I did back then, and I really was a jerk. One hit in the face. I think I got off easy." Then the biggest shock of all, both of us laughed at that. Slam then said, "Look, come with me for a coffee. It's on me. I don't know how to patch up everything I did to you. Me and the other guys back then, but maybe we can have a coffee as a start." I accepted. We went to a cafe in the mall after Slam instructed the supervisor under him to take charge while he was away, and we talked. I showed him some pictures of my family, and he showed me pictures of his. He was glad to know I was in the tutoring industry, and even said that he might send his oldest child, 6 female, to me for tutoring. We also found out we enjoyed some games in common, namely Borderlands 2, Diablo 2, and Doom 2016. After the coffee, he went back to work and I headed to my car on friendly terms. So, yeah, nothing dramatic or surprising, but a dignified and polite resolution to the matter. I was finishing up preparing my tutoring notes tonight, and thought I'd post this update just in case anyone was wondering if the matter unfolded any further. Well, it's done and over with now, and I'm glad to say the shadows of my past have grown a little less dark now. The top commenter on this one just said yes for growth, and Opie said, I'm not blind to disapproval of bad actions on my part, so I had to do what was necessary. I didn't like the humble approach, but it was the only approach. I'm always quite projecty when we come to bullying stories because of my past history with bullying. And you know, for the initial part of the story, I was like, yeah, fair play to OP. You know, I know that's not the right choice. I know it's a stupid choice, like the comments were saying, but I got to say, by the update, the apology from both of them towards each other and talking to each other, showing families, etc. That's kind of like, that's quite nice in the end. Obviously, that doesn't rub out all the torment that OP suffered from this, because a lot of times I find myself, and I know people in the comments have shared their stories in the past, and it never leaves them. So, but it was quite nice to read that they did have this discussion for me anyway. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. But just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So, thank you so much. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.